I don't know why I don't know why you did that. Like you already know. You hear the music play and you decided to stuff your face
What's
with
funny
a
is
whole Reese's cup.
I didn't hear the music playing because I was watching this hysterical video of Clarence Thomas on the Hill. So I literally had zoned out. You literally could have said anything you wanted to, AJ, and it would have been. I was I was laughing so. Clarence Thomas is caught by a reporter walking through the halls of the house on the house side of the Capitol, and this reporter is it's a minute and 14. I watched the entire minute and 14 seconds of this video, and she's trying to get him to say who he's meeting with. Later, it was acknowledged he might have been actually seeing a doctor, which there are doctors on the Hill that the House staff or House members can see. But so I'm watching this interview because somebody posted with LMFAO, if you know what that means, you do. And so he says, they said, who did you meet with? He said, oh, nobody. What are you doing? He goes, just walking. These are answers like my 7-year-old would give, pretty much, right? I'm not doing nothing. I'm not seeing nobody. I'm not doing nothing. And then they said, well, is there anything you want to tell us about? And he's like, nope. And they're like, can you give us a sneak peek of the decisions? And he literally goes, nope. Literally the same answers a child would give. At some point after she batters him with questions, he says, you have good questions, refuses to answer them, but laughs at her. So for those of you who were watching the YouTube, yes, I just ate I'm dying over here. I tried to drink a soda before we go back to the phone line and rock it over there. I tried to drink a soda. I don't know how people do it. I had like 4 sips of a Dr. Pepper, and I was like, that's just sugar in a bottle. I can't do that right now. So instead, I'm doing sugar in a chocolate cup over here because for some reason peanut butter just feels better for me than a soda. All right, Rocket on the line. Rocket, please save me from myself. You were talking about the problem that's going to happen if we actually deport all of our illegal immigrants.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, because this has been going on for so many years, and really, it's our government's fault. It's Biden's fault, and it's even before that for not basically managing that. So, so now we've got a problem, and we're just trying to, get them all out of here, which I am all for. Immigration and for the borders being closed and for people to come here with talent in the right way. But we've got a problem because they're here. And if they would be all gone instantly, you wouldn't get your house roofed, landscaping, concrete work, anything that's hard work. I mean, it wouldn't happen. And not that there's some people here that do that, but the vast majority are immigration, and the vast majority of them, I'm sure, are illegal immigrants. I've got a house I was building, and it was being roofed, and they were working on it. And then the next day, the crew didn't show up, and the next day, the crew didn't show up, and the next day, the crew didn't show up. The contractor said, "Where are they?" He said, "Well, there's a rumor that ICE is in the area," so they were just laying low.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I think those people should be, paid wages, and that people that are legal, and like you're talking about earlier, people getting into the trades and stuff. But it's going to take time. I mean, if they were all gone,
But here's the thing.
It's going to take time.
And we've seen this. We've seen this with ICE showing up at workplaces or at construction sites. There was a construction site in they were actually building a school down in Mobile, and it turned out that a large number of the subcontractors were here illegally, and so. Here's my position on this. My position is that that we have to, as a nation, accept that there will be pain involved, even for for everybody with the deportation. But at the end of the day, it's still the right thing to do. At the end of the day, it is still the thing we absolutely need to do. It's why people elected President Donald Trump. Tommy Tuberville's out there saying he's going to do what he can as governor of Alabama to make sure ICE is welcome here, that law enforcement is cooperating with them, all of the things. I know this because he reacted so strongly. I don't know if y'all remember, one of the stories I did for 1819 was on the Irondale mayor. And the Irondale mayor had put out a newsletter where he was like, we're not working with ICE and we don't want, legal, illegal. He was kind of blurring the lines there and talking about his sympathy for the people who are here illegally. I'm now paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me. But it was this whole thing. And then as soon as Tommy Tuberville was like, whoa, what are you talking about over there? He started walking it back. And he's like, well, I didn't really mean. He was actually talking about sanctuary cities and how Irondale was a safe place for immigrants, legal and illegal. And you're like, are you declaring yourself a sanctuary city? Because we have laws in Alabama about that. And then he tried to walk it back, and it was this whole song and dance. But I believe with all my heart that there are enough Americans in this country that will step up and do the job, especially when they realize, I've said it before on this show, my brother, he does construction work. And you can make a very good life for yourself doing even just the various aspects of it. He does caulking. At one point, he did other parts and did other work on constructions. I think we have, as a society, gone through where you need the prestige of a college degree. But I think if we made those hands-on jobs as essential as we know they are, Rocket, our system would rebound.
But what would you think about? I mean, really, like giving them a chance to come forward.
No, I am not for amnesty. I really believe you have to leave, and if we need specific workers, if we deport everybody, give everybody takes that chance right now, because right now you can go on the app, they'll book your flights for you, and when you get to your destination, they'll give you $2,600 and say, go have a good life. I don't believe we can. What ends up happening, and this is my huge problem, Rocket, with this idea of amnesty, is we are rewarding the people who are here illegally as opposed to those who are waiting and trying to do it the right way to come in and do those very same jobs. So right now, if you are like, I want to move to the United States, I'm good at a trade, that you're disincentivized to do so because of the people here illegally. We know that you end up waiting in line for years, getting the visa. The visa process is a pain in the neck. Employers are problematic. They want to pay you under the table. So I say we've just got to figure out, get everybody out, and then where the holes are in terms of visas, give the industries that need require the visas, give them the opportunity to go out and get them back. But it cannot be amnesty, because there's never been a situation in which you can incentivize. Biden opened the border and basically said, we're going to give you all de facto amnesty. That was what he promised people, and there's just no way to unring the bell if we do that. So I'm not for it.
Yeah. So are you saying, though, basically, if they come forward and they allow themselves to be deported,
then they should be able to get visas to come back? That I agree with, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm not doing the right thing, and I'm willing to sacrifice. But you got somebody that's willing to do that, and they're coming back. They're a good person.
And that's just it. Is everybody on the left argues they're all good people, and we know that to not be true. And then we also know that there are people who want to do it right. This is a system for a lot of industries, everything from farming to construction to, there's a lot of the hands-on industries. People want to come back, want to do it the right way. And we just have a system that disincentivizes that. And the answer to that is not to do more for those who have done it the wrong way. All right. I appreciate it, Rocket. We've got others on the line.
Thanks.
Let's see. Hunter on the line. Hey, Hunter.
Yeah, I hear the jobs Americans won't do, or they don't pay enough. The problem is all of this is a direct result of having what's called a labor leak at our southern border. I'm old enough to remember when carpets at Dalton paid more than a living wage. I'm old enough to remember when carpentry was not unlike, being a plumber in terms of being able to get in, get skilled up relatively quickly, and you can immediately make a wage to support a family. And that was only 40 years ago.
Yeah.
My point is that all of the alleged pain that we're going to go through if suddenly these workers disappear is nothing compared to the pain we're going through right now.
Absolutely.
With limited wage growth. We're flooding. Here's the thing. we're flooding the labor market, and labor is a commodity like anything else. We're flooding the labor market with people who are willing to do any job, do it well, but at a rate lower than what our economy in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s had decided was the going rate for a particular job. They came in and were working at 25% of that. That's where we are now. The point is, it's not like, well, if we just deport them, things will go back to normal. The point is, we can't survive as a country with cheap labor. It's going to destroy essentially our economy.
I agree. I think you're 100.
We have to get them out of here.
We have to get them.
If we don't,
yep.
It'll bite them too. Eventually, they'll realize they can't raise a family on what they're making.
Yep.
The point is, we have to restrict the labor market to citizens, and that's it. And visas where appropriate.
Absolutely. And I think that's a key thing. We have, people will complain, oh, but the visa system is so broken. Well, it is. And that's a whole separate conversation. But lumping these things in together, because the visa system is broken, we should give amnesty and just allow workers to stay here no matter, what industry, no matter. That's not okay. And we see that.
Fixing visas is a lot easier than amnesty. It is. And fixing visas is a lot easier than fixing the immigration system. It's not a big deal. It's basically a question of creating a system that has accountability.
Well,
That's
I was going to
the beginning and the end of it.
I agree. And that's one of those big things is, what ends up happening is we grant visas to people and then they stay, right? And they'll get one temporary and then they're here forever. And that happens across the board. It's not just those in the construction industry. We've seen that with student visas. We've seen that in other funds too. And so there has to be a way.
But it's easier to take care of today than it was 40 years ago.
It is.
With the technology today, it's really not an issue.
Nope, I agree.
Bottom line is we just have to have the will to do it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for calling, Hunter. I appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. If you are on the phone lines, hold tight. We will get to all of you. We've got a handful of callers on the lines. Back in just a second. I'm lip syncing over here. April Marie filling in for Leland. We've been talking. We've been talking about a lot of things. We got callers on the line for immigration, the labor market, and even elections. Let's see what we got going on over here. We'll take Richard on immigration. Hey, Richard.
Hello, April. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Look, I got the right person, pushed the right button, and everything. AJ's impressed.
Look at there. It's all coming together, like the cosmos is willing. I've just got a brief insertion of an opinion, and this is my opinion. I've been a carpenter and doing construction for 50 years. I started when I was 16 years old. I'm 67 now. And I've seen a lot of things change. The quality of lumber, personnel, different things happen. I went through an ABC apprenticeship program and graduated from there as a carpenter and then construction management. And it's been interesting over the years because we've relied heavily in the beginning. Whenever we were picking up Hispanics in Hoover and different places and then working on the jobs, they were day labor, they were helpers, they were people that assisted you getting things done. They were very grateful. These were very humble people. They were happy to be assisting and being productive and doing something for their families. And then over the last 30 years, there's been a real change in mental gymnastics and attitude. Now, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or any places around town, most of the contractors coming in and out of there now are guys in very nice trucks with their own crews, mostly all Hispanic. And now they're contractors in direct competition with people who live here. Now, I'm not saying all of them are illegal, but the interesting thing is that because of the construction trade has never been glamorized. It's never been one that should have been a lot of gratitude toward, even though everyone lives in a house that somebody built.
Yep.
Everybody walks on a sidewalk that somebody poured. Everything around us was created by some talented individual who came home smelling to high heaven, eating them a bologna sandwich, but at night they laid their head down knowing they'd earned their keep. They'd earned their paycheck. So now we're in a dilemma. The caller before has a real legitimate problem. If you take away the workforce, things grind to a halt. It takes time. A lot of the people right now are aging out of the workforce. Like I said, I'm 67. I was a teacher at a trade school, and a lot of the people coming in are not interested in the blue-collar force, even though now there's more money to be earned than ever. When I used to go to Hoover and pick up day laborers, it was $12, $15 an hour. Now they want $25 and $30 an hour cash. That's after-tax cash of your earnings. So you got to earn $45 to pay them $30, and they want you to buy their lunch. And so what happens is that contractors who want to remain in business sometimes wind up in a compromised position. They don't mean to be. They have to survive. They have to feed their families. So they wind up doing things that are outside the edges. They're fuzzy. So that's the situation we've got right now. If you ever want to get America back in control of its growth and in the construction industry, which is the biggest part of the GDP, go look it up. You'll start to understand that we need to make this a respectable tradition,
Yep.
An area that people want to be part of, and also put in place for them chances for investments so they can have a 401k or health insurance or other things, because being a carpenter, man, you live and die on the next job. And if it's gone, income's gone, budget's gone, you're dead in the water.
Yep.
And that's that up and down stuff that's just so hard to draw people, young people, when they get out of high school into this industry. And I just wanted to bring that up and listen to your report.
I appreciate it, Richard. Thanks for the call in. And that's a good perspective there, of just how the workers and the workforce has changed over the years. It's really, it is strange. I'll tell you, so my own experience in just getting contractors and getting people to do the work, it's been very hit or miss over the years. I've had various jobs that I needed help with, and we did a remodel. When I first purchased my house, now I rented my house before I purchased it. I used to be able to walk through the kitchen after a good rain, and the floor would literally like swoosh, swoosh under my feet. It was a situation. But no, it's construction. There is value, and I think that's one of those things. Again, going back to this, everybody needs a degree. A degree isn't a right fit for everybody. And some people are just really good with their hands, and they're good out there on that, doing that hard stuff. Growing up, my godmother was basically like a mother to me, and they had a company building houses. And as he said, Roland would come home and he would be exhausted, and he would, he pushed his body to the brink of breaking on a regular basis. They would work long hours. If they got behind, whether it was, something, materials didn't come in on time, or someone in the crew didn't show up, or whatever it was, he picked up that slack. And so, I know how important it is. And as he said, it can be not glamorous, but on the flip side, you can have success in that. You do build a reputation. I feel like people have their favorites and their go-tos of people they've come to trust over the years. Chris Pringle. Chris Pringle's a great example of this. He's a state representative and that's what he does, building and construction. He does contract work. Whether it's expansions of a homes or stuff, and it's fun listening to him because he really does enjoy the work. It's something he loves. All right, let's see. I've darn near got us into a break here. I'm gonna go to Hippie. All right, hey Hippie.
What's up?
How's it going?
Hey, did you ever get your cabinet door fixed?
I did not. Thanks for that.
I've been meaning to call since last week.
That's so funny.
No, the guy said thing of I'm a carpenter. I do a lot of everything, but where he's talking about the labor force, there's a lot of new houses. I have a friend that installs factory cabinets, and they're the only American workers that work on like 95% of these houses.
Hippie, if you want to hold tight, you can.
Yeah,
we're gonna take this quick commercial. We'll be right back. You're listening to April Marie here, filling in for Leland. Well, good afternoon, everyone. April Marie here, filling in for Leland. Coming up a little later this week, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to have Jeff Poor on with me tomorrow afternoon in that first hour. And then we'll have Speaker Ledbetter on with us on Thursday. And we'll also have, I mentioned this earlier today, I saw the Hoover City Council members are having at their 4th of July party, which is on the 1st. They have a handful of things going on. First, the Hoover is trying to break the national record, or I'm sorry, the Guinness World Record of the most Coke cans opened at once. So you can go be a part of breaking that Guinness World Record. They're trying to do that. They're going to watch the U.S. soccer game, and they're going to have all sorts of games and fun things for the family. And the members of the city council are going to have a hot dog eating contest. And we're going to have 3 of them in studio with us tomorrow afternoon. We'll have Robin Schultz, Steve McClinton, and Ashley Lovell are going to come in and give us a preview of that event. So you're not going to want to miss that. We'll have some additional guests I'm working on, and we'll announce those tomorrow. Okay, right now we've got on the line Hippie, and we were talking about the labor market and construction specifically. Go ahead. Sorry, we had to go to break there.
Yeah, the guy was talking earlier about the lumber. You try to find straight wood nowadays with these engineered trees that they're growing, and but it started probably a good 30 years ago when the quality of the work started going downhill, and it's that thing of with the lumber the way it is, you know, you got whether it's a Jim Walter house or a $3 million mansion, it's still built with that same crooked 2x4, and they take the first thing that comes off the stack.
Yeah. It's crazy, and I've talked to people about the older homes and people not realizing the quality difference and that wood and even the workmanship that goes into the house has changed significantly.
People used to take pride in their work, and now they don't care. I mean, I've worked with guys that say I can't see it from my house.
Yeah, it's.
But anyway, well, I'm gonna be celebrating the 4th this year.
Fantastic.
It'll be the 50th anniversary of the day I rubbed the crack in the Liberty Bell.
All right, you went up to Pennsylvania 50 years ago?
Well, yeah, me and my mom and dad went.
All right.
We was at Independence Square that day.
Well,
with 3 million other people.
I'm looking at the coverage of the America 250 on the National Mall, and it looks contrary to what the left-wing media, the mainstream media, wants people to think. I think it's going to be a big success.
I hope so.
All right.
Well, anyway,
well, thanks.
April Marie, you have a good one.
Thank you. Thanks for
appreciate that country music.
Thank you to AJ for that. And you're doing a little more today.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I appreciate it. Oh man. Okay. The y'all caught me eating my Reese's cup. So we did get the number of someone to call for our dryer problems. I'm amazed at how many people messaged me about appliances after we talked about that on the program. Apparently, we had, if you missed it on Friday, somehow the TV channel that is typically playing Fox ended up on the Home Shopping Network last week, and AJ and I had a whole conversation about our dryers and how often they need to be cleaned and getting them serviced and all the things. I have not fixed my dryer. I have not replaced the cabinet that my son knocked off shortly after Christmas. If that'll tell you where I am in life, okay? My son hit a cupboard. Now the only problem with missing the cupboard door, by the way, the little cabinet door, is that we got a puppy, and the cupboard is where the snack container is. So nothing that's been opened, like you can't open a bag of chips, pour some in a bowl, and then put it back in there because the puppy will end up with the bag of chips. So that's been an adventure for us. But at some point we will actually get that fixed. Now I've got a question for you, AJ. Did you partake in Amazon Prime Day at all? Are you an Amazon Prime Day person?
No, I did not participate in that. I'd be forgetting about it unless I get on Amazon Prime and get ready to buy something if I need something. But no, I did not participate.
So I did, and I will tell you, I needed. It's funny because I did not. I thought I had escaped it. I thought I'd gotten over Amazon Prime, and then I ended up needing something and I went online to get it, and then once I was like, oh, well, this is Prime, and then when I got to my cart, because I'm big at putting things in the cart that I want to buy later that I need to save up for, or I don't necessarily have time to shop for it. And then some things that were already in my cart were on sale, and then I just went down a rabbit hole. So as we were in the last 15 minutes, my Prime stuff arrived, and I'm pretty excited about this. Most everything was functional. Actually, there have been years where I've gotten ridiculous things. Like I got a Roomba one year, which actually makes no sense because every room in my house is on a different level, and so the Roomba does not do well. Like you have to build the thing ramps or something, or it's going to end up upside down. It's a whole situation. But this year, I was very good when it came to the Prime. I did not waste money, so I'm kind of proud of myself. But the kids are acting like it's Christmas time, and I went ahead and gave them the okay to partake in and seeing what I got. So part of that is my son, my sweet son. He needs a little. He needed to go up a size in clothing, and so he's going to open it up and find new pants. That's what he's going to be very excited about that. Sister and brother got toys. He got new pants.
They got toys to play with. He got clothes.
Yeah, he's not gonna like that very much.
No.
The toys are all shareable, I suppose. All right. So we have talked today, and as we've been on air, there's a handful of things happening. We were talking earlier about these SCOTUS decisions. There have been a number of them. One in which Amy Coney Barrett sided with the left in terms of when ballots need to be received. So we no longer have election day. Now we have election weeks and months. I didn't realize that it was so bad that one state even allows it. Some allow it 7 days, some 10, some 14, and one up to 21 days for your ballot to get to them. Which, by the way, how bad is your post office if within the state your ballots are taking 21 days to get there? That's neither here nor there. So that was one of the decisions. Another one of the decisions related to electronic records and surveillance. Court rules that law enforcement's use of a geofence warrant is a search, and so they must comply with the reasonable search requirements. And that's the Fourth Amendment case that came out of Virginia. We, of course, are waiting for tomorrow will be the last day of decisions, and the birthright citizenship decision is expected. A lot of people I'm seeing feel like that is not going to go the way that we hope and that Trump hoped on that decision, but that is expected tomorrow. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come in, we will wrap things up for today's program. Back in just a moment, you're listening to Leland Live with April Marie.
And a very special day for the special.
Well, good evening, everyone. April Marie here, filling in for Leland today and the rest of the week. As I mentioned, tomorrow we'll have Jeff Poor on. We'll also have 3 members of the Hoover City Council. Later this week, we'll have Speaker Ledbetter here for a discussion. I'm really glad that Ledbetter is coming on with me. I feel like just because he isn't as accessible as some of the lawmakers, other lawmakers, people don't know him. There's been questions. My experience working with him and his office has been really positive. I have taken concerns to them, including, my concerns with the Charter School Commission. And they not only did they listen, but they took action. For those of you unfamiliar, of course, I write for 1819 News, but my beat has evolved over the time I've been there. Started out with municipal elections, which is why you'll hear me talking to local lawmakers, but transitioned then into education, K-12 and colleges. One of my biggest concerns has been and remains the Magic City Acceptance Academy, which is the charter school right around the corner from the studios and by the Homewood Police Department. And they have had drag queens there, not just the one where Tim James put it in a commercial where staff were in drag, but they've had drag queen speakers come talk to their classes. They have had books in there that I wouldn't I wouldn't want any child to be around, and not because I'm a book banner, but because if the parents want to give filth to their kids, that's a totally different conversation. But books that do not belong anywhere near a public library or a child section of a public library or a school. But Magic City Acceptance Academy, I could go on and on and on about the problems there, the DEI. I have an image of a classroom with a wheel of oppression. I wish I was making that up. I am not making it up. Google it, you'll find it, a wheel of oppression. And so each of these kids can every day of their life get to just focus on their struggle and the challenges they face because they might identify as, and then put them anywhere on the LGBTQ spectrum. This is a school that has really, in my opinion, shown a lot of the true colors of lawmakers here in Alabama. The minute I took a problem with the appointees of the Charter School Commission to the speaker in their office, they were like, we're going to work on this. And sure enough, the legislature passed, Governor Ivey signed into law a bill that allows for elected officials to recall their appointments and replace them with people. And this could be for a number of reasons. We saw at this Motorsports Hall of Fame, there was financial malfeasance there that the board didn't catch that ended up in criminal indictments. We've seen where some appointees just don't show up to meetings. They aren't doing enough. We've seen in the case of the Charter School Commission, where they took the school with declining enrollment and with all sorts of challenges, and not just renewed them for 3 years, but renewed them for 5. This is not acceptable. Will Ainsworth, Lieutenant Governor, came out and said that. He was like, "Whoa, what is happening here?" I know that the state lawmakers were really counting on the Charter School Commission to say no more of this madness, and they didn't. And now I think we're going to get a house cleaning there, and on several other boards and commissions of people who are appointed for one way or another. And I will say this. That's something that we don't talk about enough when we are looking at what our elected officials can do. Your governor, the governor will make appointments for judicial appointments, and Kay Ivey has been left and right appointing nearly every opportunity she can, appointing Democrat judges. Where in places, even here in Jefferson County, where you wouldn't get an opportunity, there aren't opportunities for Republicans to get elected a lot of times. And so she has the opportunity to put one on the court, and she won't do it. And so I think we're going to see a big change and shift in that with Tuberville. Other appointments, John Wall mentioned that the lieutenant governor gets a number of appointment positions. And so that's something to look towards as we look towards the next governor. I think of Doug Jones and, well, even John Wall himself. We'll go back a second and say, the governor appointed to the library board and library commission. John Wall got on that board and has really put his foot down in terms of the types of material we're seeing in the children's section of libraries. A lot of the left will go, oh, you're banning books. No, how about we take books that aren't appropriate for children, move them over to the adult section if they're already owned, and a parent can check them out if they're so inclined, which boggles the mind that they would be inclined, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, man. I had on my list of things to talk about this Pride Parade over the weekend with grown men participating naked in front of children. This goes back to my position that we have to get back to gender roles. And one of the things we've seen under the Trump administration, you look at Trump, at Hegseth, is this emphasis on getting our nation secure. And that goes everywhere from, we heard Trump last week celebrate not just recruitment up across our military, but recruitment up in our first responders, in our law enforcement, and our firemen, and our medical first responders. I think it's incredibly important that we have men in these positions who understand the role to protect the community. It is each and every one of these individuals should have been arrested. If you show up at an event and you are naked in front of children, arrest them. There's a reason they're not doing this in Alabama. It's because I feel pretty good about our law enforcement, and they wouldn't have this. Heck, we went through the whole thing in Fairhope with the woman with the penis costume. I think this is a no-go. But as we talk about the degeneracy, which is what it is, it's absolutely disgusting. Some of what this community wants to push onto the mainstream and wants to normalize. That happened this weekend, and I thought, well, maybe we made it through the month without any of that craziness. No, did not. We're not so lucky. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and by take a break, I mean we're going to end today's program. AJ laughed. AJ, you got a big show coming up for Breaking Bread?
Sure, we're gonna have a big show.
You and the Taste Buds have things all lined up?
Yeah. Well, JD is still on location. Well, actually, he's back.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he has to do some yard stuff, some daddy duty stuff. So we're gonna see who's all going to be on the show today.
All right, there you go. Well, you guys stay tuned for that. I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, I want to encourage you all to stay out of trouble.
I'm super excited because, the 4th is coming up this weekend, and I got to buy some fireworks.
Ooh, that's how thankfully, I have a family friend coming up because at New Year's Eve, we had a darn near fire in my yard. Had to call 911 the whole nine. So we're going to stick with sparklers, I believe, for our 4th.
Yeah, my cousin in St. Louis, he normally gets like the good stuff. I don't know where he gets it from, but the stuff that you get from like the fireworks shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had some, and he be letting them off in his neighborhood. So I won't be in St. Louis this weekend, but hey, I'm gonna see if I can get some. Yeah, we're gonna have a party.
All right.
We're gonna light up the night sky.
Lord have mercy.
All right, Breaking Bread coming up next. Goodbye, AJ.